Got it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Nadine. I'm here with Don Stevens, and we're about to start our pop-up session for this morning. I hope you are doing well and you're ready to create. So grab your materials, whatever you have around you. As you asked, we delivered. We're going to do another landscape scene. Don's going to tell us all about it. But I just wanted to, if you're watching this now, this moment, I want you to type in hi, and tell us how you're doing in the chat section, because we want to hear from you. Don, how you doing?
I'm fine.
You fine?
We have to get coffee and you can talk to them some more, talk to the crowd some more. They got to get their supplies together, get their paper together and everything else. What else do you have to say to them?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, first of all, sure. Paper is suggested. You got to put it somewhere. And obviously, my little Richard is now having a situation. But hold on a second.
So everybody get your paperwork together, get your pens and pencils out.
Yes.
Get ready to do this landscape. Also, be prepared to look around. Look around and check out some of the Patreon and other things that we have going on that we need for you to participate to as well and come on and look at. What are some of those things, Nadine?
Oh, well, we have Buy Me a Cup of Coffee that you can support us in doing with your donation. And we also have Patreon. It's up to you what you feel more comfortable with.
Hey, what if they wanted a mouse pad or something, or if they wanted the t-shirts that we be wearing? How can they get that?
Yes, we have a link in the description of our store, Let's Paint and Draw Along store, where you can check that out, see what you like, and if it is a mouse pad or sticker or bag or whatever, there you have it. You can purchase that, and you
show
can
them that
spread
mug,
the word.
Nadine. Show them that coffee mug.
Coffee mug is right
there.
here.
It is. There it is. See everybody? Yeah. So come on.
Yeah.
Get to going. So I didn't even get my coffee going yet, Nadine. Oh, yeah. Bummer. Yeah, bummer. But long day, long night. Everything's all right. We're here now.
Yes.
So greetings, everyone. And
greetings.
Word. Let's see here. Let's get this together. Now we here on the board. Nobody joined us just yet?
No, I'm actually going to double check our stream.
Give them a couple of more minutes for if anybody's going to come join in. Ray Deller, Joshua, Miss Anthony, Miss Paulette. Just to name a few that do come and join us. We'll stall you out if your intention is to come check us out and be a part of the fun that we normally do. So, I'm gonna go get my coffee real quick, Nadine. You got anything else you want to share with everybody?
Actually, I don't know if you've noticed, anyone noticed yesterday, I went shopping up in, Philadelphia Outlet. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. And the clouds were just so amazing. And I was looking at them and I was saying, how would I recreate that? That was the big thing. I was like, look at how it's layering and how when it goes in a distance, how they seem closer and closer together. And the closer that it is on top, the further the space in between. And I'm telling you, anybody want a dog? That's all I have to say. Anybody want a Maltese? Hello. I apologize, everybody. I apologize, everybody. My workspace is still under construction, so I have to do this in the dining room. And
I'll get on this.
Still
Hmm?
there.
It took me a long time to get on this
Hey,
page.
no headphones on, everybody.
yes, so just
Oh,
working with,
hey, there she is.
yes. So sometimes it is, it is a little wonky with Zoom to get in and sign up, but we do appreciate, you joining us today. Can you hear us
So what
good?
did you say?
Hey,
You said
hey,
Nadine,
Swen, what's
watercolor, what
going
else?
on?
I
doing?
want to, hold on a second.
So listen,
What's-
don't worry. Right now, it's pull out a drawing pad, multimedia pad, what is it?
Now just pull out paper. What's all this multimedia pad and all this?
lots of
Just pull out some
paper.
paper. Just put out, pull out
that's
some
fine.
sketch paper. Put out some paper. 8.5 by 11, 9 by 12, 11 by 14, 11, 17 if you have it from a printer. That's okay. Pull the paper out. Now, as far as pencils is concerned, you can have a regular number 2 pencil to start off with, or you can use a 2H or HB pencil. And this is for everybody. Everybody, you can have a regular number 2 pencil, or you can have the ebony drawing pencil, or you can have a 2H or HB pencil. These are all good pencils to start off with the draw with. Yeah. Get your eraser. If you don't have an eraser on the back of your pencil, then have a kneaded eraser or a plastic eraser. If you do have them, markers. Your micro markers, your micro markers and your regular Sharpie marker. So you can do a small line and a fat line. And that's just to start off with, everybody. So then you can transition into watercolors and everything else when you go to fill in. Right now, what we're focusing in on is how to get your structure together and get lines together, and how to use your computer together with your drawing so you can have an idea of having a way of having multiple drawings being done. There you go. Yeah.
These are just,
Those can be for when you're coloring in, Suen. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But just to get your line established, you can use any dark marker, black, if you want to. That's the standard. But you can use like a blue one if you want to, depending upon what you want as a finished result. So there's still the idea, everybody, is to use what's around you. If you have the capability and the ability of buying art supplies, that's great. What Nadine and I have done is put a list together. I think it's on our page on Facebook, where you can see the other supplies that we can get, the other tablets that Nadine was talking about and everything like that. But we like to try to start you off with just a basic idea. Yep, what's happening is this. All it is that all you need is a marker and a regular number 2 pencil and a piece of paper. It can be printer's paper. It doesn't matter. We want you just to be creative. You'll get to the point where you can go to the store and buy art supplies, and we'll talk about all. But the main thing is to get everybody on here, whoever looks at the video, to want to have the urge to create with whatever's around them, because that's naturally what it is, right? Right.
I got graphite pencils from art class.
Yeah, graphite pencils are a standard now. You don't really have any lead in anything anymore. You have to buy lead as a specialty, and you have to really explain why you would want a lead pencil in some situations. But other than that, graphite will just give you diarrhea if you ingest it. Yeah, and as long as you're not blowing it in front of a fan and it's granulated, you don't have to wear a mask to do a drawing.
Mhm.
The fumes won't kill you because you're not using charcoal to that level where it's floating in the air. If you're working to that point where it's floating in the air, then that means you're outdoing me at that point. Yeah, wear a mask if you're on fire. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, graphite or charcoal will not give you a poison. It'll give you diarrhea more so.
Okay.
Things like that. Check into it, everybody. All right. So are we all prepared as the people that's on board with us? Yeah, Swen, you ready? I saw you was holding your stuff up. Nadine, you always ready to rock. I guess it's me this time. Huh? Don, what are you doing? Oh boy, I'm trying to find these markers again, ladies. Don and these markers, man. I tell you, for our marker for it. But let's talk about what we're going to do, everybody. You hear me pretty good?
Yes.
What we're going to do today, this is last week's object we had going on. This week's objective is going to be something like a beach scene. So we're just going to make it up again. And if you want to use one of our standards, like a balloon or something, or we're going to talk about some other stuff we can put in the sky. But the main thing is we're going to do like this beach scene, like it's almost like a private play or something like that. Ooh, what was that? I hope that wasn't me.
I did a
You're
watercolor
still going. You can
beach.
hear me. Say again?
I did a watercolor beach a couple days ago, but I stuck on the wall already.
Cool. All right. Well, hopefully we won't mimic the same movements. All right. Let's see here. Oh.
I went to on the Wildwood yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I went to
Great.
Wildwood yesterday.
Great.
Yeah. How was the weather? How was the sky?
It was really nice. It was really
Yeah?
nice. There's 50 million people there, though.
Of course. It's the peak of the season now. Everybody wants to touch that beach.
Mhm.
It took me an hour to find the bus station.
Wow.
It's terrible.
All
Close
right.
off the wall.
All right, everybody. Hopefully all these markers is going to work. I'm going to erase this out. So what you want to do, ladies, should we go landscape or portrait? So if we go landscape, you get more bang for the buck to make it feel like how would you say, an actual scene. See?
Landscape's good.
Yeah, that's always good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, because every now and then you get somebody that may buck and say, "Oh, I want to do portrait." I say, "Oh, okay." And then we have to talk about why did it be limited in some ways. It depends upon what you want to do with your scenes. All right, everybody. So here's the box that I got to get ready to give to you. Oh, that's one marker that's already busted up. Oh, man. I had to throw that on the floor. All right. We're back. There we go. Landscape view, everybody. Longer than it is wide. I mean, wider than it is longer. Yep, there you go. Find center. Find center, everybody. You know the deal. Cross the corners. And that's just so you can get your composition together on how you're going to place things. Just to know where center is on each part of your format. It's always good to know. Always good to know, everybody. Don't worry. Before the end, I'm going to find my good markers. I believe I know where they're at. But we'll get started. All right, everybody. Now, I want to do this like it's coming from a cliff or something. You know, that's how I was doing this. Okay? That's how I was foreseeing this. So then that means that we get a little bit more of the land this time. So we go up above the halfway point. We can start our horizon line right about there. See? So I'm not trying to cut the sky out totally, but you know what I mean? We're going to cut it out some. All right? Now to start off, I'm going to start a mountain. That's going to go something like this. Let's do, yeah, let's put another line here, right? Right up underneath of that. And watch how we do this, everybody. We're gonna have some fun. Ready, everybody? Oh, wow. Get our responses back. Everybody's quiet.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, let's just go for it. From the bottom line here, start your mountain. That will possibly be somewhat connected to the background. There you go. Right. Now we can erase out that top line that's inside your mountain, wherever you put your mountain. Okay. We can put another small one, like there's another small island out here in a total distance. See what we did? So it's pretty much like a bay type of situation, or water going around water like that. All right, you ready, everybody? Let's do another fun thing. From a point right about here or anywhere you want to determine, make it seem like it's curving and then coming in. No, or better yet, no, I want to do it a little bit better than that. This, and then curve it in a little bit. There you go. All right, see that, everybody?
Yep.
It's not the water now. It's going to be like a little cliff. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up and back this way, right? And then when we go up high up there like this, let's see, let's zoom it in. There we go. So now, this line that I'm talking about now, we're coming up here. See, so you see how I came up a little bit off the line off of what we're saying it's going to be the base of this mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So we bring it here and we do another line. It does the same thing, but curves into it now and then comes around. So we're going to make it seem like we're looking from up above. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So now we can erase out this line here. We can erase out this little bit of a line here. And now we can make this come down and into this part right here. See what we did?
Yep.
All right. So then now, all this is like a little embankment. So we can put lines in this like this to make it look like this is coming down and meeting the sand there. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And now you just go down the line and do this little treatment here. This little treatment, it works all the time. And roll it right over. You see, that's not water, that's the land, that's the sand. This is like a embankment. It's like an area that they made as, say for instance, if the swelling of the water, that's gonna be, that's the water is gonna be from here. If this is your mountain here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we still on it. Now what we do is we bring the water around that point, and then we say it's hitting the beach down here. See, now we can wiggle that a little bit and take it right out. That's where the water is crashing up on the shore. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then now down around here, you can put little umbrellas if you want to. See? Little umbrellas at a distance. Make them different colors and things like this. You can do that. See how they look like they're at the distance?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Couple little small boxes here and there. If you wanted to make like a spot where they have the beach towel laying out, you can do that. See how we did that just that easy? Not going to sweat it too much. But the main thing is the terrain. So we want to make it feel like that's still like an embankment that was made as a safety just in case the water may or may not come up too high. You know, and they need a natural barrier to hold the water back. The whole private beach scene. See, then we can put, now what we can do is a couple of things. One thing I like to do a lot of times when I do things like this is make it seem like, put a little dot, and now I can put a little line out here. And I don't know why I like doing this, but I like making kites when I start seeing beaches. You see how that can take up a lot of space?
Mm-hmm.
Throw the eye off a little bit, you see? We bring that here, now we can have string come to that point, you see? That's controlling the string that's going down to our friend down. See? The water you would do left or right to as well. Let me see if this green marker would work for us. See, there we go. See, and now you would do left or right motions in that water to make us believe that. When you get to your mountain, don't cover your mountain here in the front because you want just to look like a bay or something like that. You know, you see that water is going up and behind that piece of the land there, so that's off in the distance. This here now you would do the same thing, except for what I would do is that before I would get to the shore, I would stop all my lines for the water being aggressive like this right before the shoreline, because that'll show how the shoreline dips down, and that will be darker waters. Here you can put a couple of lines here and there, and that'll show what? The difference between the depths of the waters at the shoreline. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
You guys, when you're at a beach or something or a gully, you can see the drop off based upon the darkness of the water at that point. You see, and it'll stop at a certain point, and then you still can see the land. So you want to have that elliptical feeling of your darkness doing that in there, so that it feels like you're really looking down. So I'll put a line in red to say where your drop off should be. That's where your drop off should be, where your lines coming across to show the water. That's where all your lines should be the most dense if you're going to do it in a marker. Then now this is the shoreline. This is the water crashing on the shoreline, you see? So this is the beach head, as they might say. All right, so this line is shore. This line, drop off. Okay. This here, beachhead. Okay. Uh-oh, you don't see that. Okay, let me back it out some. Sorry about that, everyone. Now you can see what I'm writing in there. This is the beachhead right here. This is all the beach from here to the water's edge. You see, that water's edge is considered the shoreline. Now, the deep waters that I'm talking about would be these lines here that would stop right about there to show how it's the drop off the shoreline. If you're ever at the beach and you look, you can see where the drop off is a lot of times. This is where the lifeguards will be out there and they'll say, oh, don't, stop here, stop there, or they have the little buoys set up to section off an area that they're saying is safer for you to be in based upon the undercurrent and the undertow. I'll stop there. I don't want to sound too scientific. All right. Here's another area where we can put something or somebody or something that's going to, how would you say, chop up space for us. Our whole idea of putting a person in here. That whole idea of putting a person in here. What I mean by that is right in here, we can put a young lady looking like she's just standing. We don't have to show what she's standing on, not unless you guys want to. So if you wanted to do that, all we have to do is just put a little bit of a stone perch up there like this. See what I just did, everybody? Right? And we can say our person is going to stand right there. So we just make a makeshift person. You can make it a female, put a head on her first, put the neck on her, put the body on her, hips would be wider. Then let me zoom in on this. Because you want to make those basic shapes like that to make a person from behind, see? Because now I can put her legs here like so, you see? What type of bathing suit she's going to have on, you guys? One piece?
Yeah,
bikini
yeah,
cut.
one piece.
One piece, all right. So then we can make it a high bikini cut then. See how I did that? Take it in. Do we want to have her with a sundress, a sun hat on? Yes? Okay. So what we do is now is I would put like almost like one of those big bamboo hats. It's like a sombrero type. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Then I would put the stove on the top of the hat. You see that would cover her head. You see that? Then I would erase out that area. Erase out the area. You see, and now we have her head there. Even erase out right there and right there so we can see the rim of the hat. See that?
Mhm.
Now I'm not saying you have to make it the way I made it. You can make it any which way you want to, long as it's looking like a hat. Let's put her legs on her, you know, so it looks like she's looking off over to the beach. See? Just some makeshift shapes, just to show that her feet is there. You can come back and shape it up later. Yeah, you would put like that little, to show the straps or the strapless, you know, one piece if you wanted to. You see?
I got a
And
question
now,
for you, John.
say again,
I got a question for you.
what's up?
Why is there water on both sides of the beach?
Well, there's not water on both sides of the beach. Once again, this is the hill embankment. It's like
Oh,
a
it's a
mountain.
hill?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
see, this is the guy standing here on the beach head itself with a kite. And here's
I
some
see.
people down here with umbrellas and they're blanket out here. So once again, this is not water. This is
Okay,
like a mountain or like a natural embankment that was made by man to push this beachhead back to open up this part of the beach just in case this overflows. You have some place where that's going to keep that water from going over.
I see.
So it's more mainly like one of those private beaches and things like that that you can see in certain places and spaces. See, this is another mountain range back here. This is another mountain range back here. This is water here, and that water comes around this point, and then now that water is here. So everything is going with the curve that the engineers in this piece made, which is me. I'm an engineer, so I made this embankment so it can be this type of beachhead. Now we're putting a person over here to chop up all this space over here so that we don't have to worry about putting in too many land terrains. So then now I'll put her arms in as if she's holding the hat. You see? In just basic shapes. The other arm you can put like so. And you won't be able to see if she's holding it on that side now unless you put the hand here. And now you have a square for the hand there. Also, you can give her a ponytail if you want. That's up to you guys. You know, what type of hairstyle you want your young lady to have. You know? And remember, she's at a distance, so you really can't make out so much. But she's looking over this beautiful scene, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
There's another area where you can chop up some things. You can put a cloud up here, you see? Beautiful sunny day, you can put a cloud up here, put a bottom on it, you see? Now you can do these type of movements to say that that cloud is buoyant, has a lot of moisture in it, you see?
Hey, Don, can you zoom out just a little bit?
Yeah. But that wasn't my intent to because I wanted you to stay focused on the young lady.
Okay, no worries. Just looking at your
Yeah.
cloud.
Yeah, understand.
Cool, that's good.
Yeah, I know. I know. Work with me. Work with me. That was going to be secondary. You know, perfection is a lie. Repetition is the truth. All right. So once again, when you're ready, put your mountain in, put your sky in, put your cloud in. You can make it bigger or smaller. That's up to you. Once again, if it goes toward the horizon line, it should be smaller. As you go up, the clouds get bigger because that's the upper sky of where you're looking through at. There could be smaller, serious clouds, as they call them, and things like that up in there. But that's up to you if you want to get all complicated with that. And you put other things in there. You can put our famous balloon in there if you want to. Or you can put a plane up in there if you want to. Or you can put a flying saucer if you want to, based upon how we've been working thus far. But this is the basic idea. Now we got to get you to understand how we're going to place it. That's like, look, these are areas in here where you can get foliage going. You see? So all this where the red is that I'm doing now, this can be foliage and long grass at the distance, you see? Up here on the mountain with this young man. Some grass here, a couple of rocks here and there to show it's a ledge there, you see? So some of that, you know, some grass back here, lower laying grass, things like this. Little choppy little lines like so. You see? Makes it that much more easier. Things in here you can do. You can do the same type of thing just to show some type of shrubbery that's there, some type of foliage. All of this can be little shrubberies, little patches of grass. Doesn't have to be a parking lot or anything over here. Once again, this could be like a private enclave that people know about because they're neighborhood people possibly, you know? And once again, that red is not water, that's shrubbery, you know, land mass, grass at a distance, you know what I mean? So the way you would show that in black and white, you wouldn't put a lot of heavy lines in here in these areas. So I'll show you that when I start doing a demonstration on the paper. And then yes, after you spray it, you can come back with watercolor and things like that over time. All right, so then this is the basic idea for it. All right, that's the basic idea. The young lady standing over there. You can duplicate that young lady idea and put another young lady shorter. Maybe it's her daughter or something like that. So I know we've done a scene like this before, but this is different. We're not really focusing in on being closer up on the beachhead. Now we're further back to where it's really looking like it's a private scene. She's looking in because they have a private house, beach house, probably sitting right on the edge here, and they can overlook that whole scene. You know, got a lot of these scenes down there in Virginia Beach and stuff on this Paulette's at. You know, they have a lot of that up here if you go to certain estuaries and things like that. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So now we're going to go on over to the overhead, Nadine.
Okay.
Share the screen.
This isn't easy.
Huh?
This isn't easy.
Yes, it is. Just got to take your time. That's all you got to do. Take your time and don't let the idea of perfection take over. Fight your urge to want to be perfect. Fight that urge to want to be perfect. Perfection is a lie. Repetition is the true truth. Once you get that, then you won't worry about too much, Suzanne. You know, you really won't, honestly.
Yeah.
Where it works, because then that's where you're in the zone of really truly creating. You're trying to make things work on the surface. And you're not worried about too much or what somebody may or may not say. You're mainly just worried about intent. All right, let's see here. Let's change this way. Yeah, okay, I can see it now. Yep, we're all ready. Okay, so then now look. If I use the 4H pencil, so what I might do too is zoom in a little bit more, Nadine. I can do that with this one here.
Cool. Yes, looking good.
Now we can, so I can control the focus. There we go. Put my hand here. Yeah, that looks good. All right, let's see. Do we see that mark there? Yeah, that looks good there. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the 4H pencil. I'm gonna press a little bit harder, everybody.
Okay.
Just know when you use a 4H pencil and you press pretty hard, you're gonna leave grooves in the paper when you're drawing. So what happens is you should use your kneaded eraser to try to get the SS charcoal out if you're going to be doing watercolor over top. That's the most important thing, because you don't want that watercolor to blend in with the charcoal and you get a dirty color. Another one is that if you don't clean it all out pretty good after you put the marker on top, When you do put anything wet on top, then that charcoal is underneath that marker. It's going to disperse out as soon as you put water in.
Got it.
So you just got to be, mindful of how much graphite and charcoal you have left on the surface so it doesn't blend in with your marker or it doesn't blend in with your watercolor or your ink. If you're doing it with acrylic, doesn't matter then.
Okay.
If you're doing it with gouache, doesn't matter then. Okay. If you're doing it with color pencil, doesn't matter then.
Okay.
It's very low if it matters at all. So then look, let's go for it. All right, I have the halfway mark loosely marked out as being right about here for me. You see? So now with that being said, that first line that we talked about, I can put it over top. See, that's the first line. The second line we did was for the mountain here. So then now this is the second line. Everybody? Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Thanks. Yeah, all right. Okay, so then now look, we make the mountain now. So I started it over this way, started it low, and then started to take it higher to go past the upper one so that it really feels like we're going behind this thing that we just made, this mountain or part of the land we just made, you see? So now we can keep this line here. Notice, ooh, ouch, let me close that up. Notice how in this rendition, different from the board, I didn't cover the mountain, I didn't use the mountain to cover that upper line, but so much. So now I just erase it out a little bit. See what I'm doing, ladies? That's all you do, erase it out. Now, that's just going to add a little bit more adventure to our piece so somebody can feel like they can look over that to say, wow, that's going out to the open sea possibly. See? So then now look, we can put the other mountain range. Maybe this is in Hawaii. Maybe this is in the Caribbean. These are places that look like that. Up in Nova Scotia when I was that way. Lake Erie looks something like this, depending upon where you're standing at, you see? All right, you see that, everybody? Y'all got that together?
Yep.
All right, cool. Now here's the next part now. Then y'all laughing too.
Sure.
All right, look here. Here's the first one we're going to do, which is from here, right about here, which would be what? The landmass itself. So that's the line for the base of the landmass. And then we're going to hook it in. You see, look how I'm using the sketchy lines to hook it in. Because now that's setting up even more the idea of a someplace over here where somebody can stand. And you notice, even if I'm doing a real landscape like this, you're still working the same way. You see, this is in oil on paper. So I use the same idea here, but I was actually out on a scene on East Allegheny. So the same thing works here as it does if you're making it up. This one's an actual scene. This is the one that we're making up.
Gotcha.
You see, can we find a place that may mimic what we're making up? Sure, Swin. We can do that. We can find places. Now, heck, with all the construction that they're doing on the Delaware over there on Columbus Boulevard with the new construction development projects they have there, you have certain spots where if you stand on Columbus Boulevard, you can look across and it feels something like what we're doing now too as well, especially if you're down towards where the Ben Franklin Bridge is.
Right.
And you're coming across, or you're looking across the Jersey from the, I forget the name of the park that's down there on Columbus Boulevard. There's a small park that's next to the old electric company factory. Electric company building, electric building. And when you're down on that side, when you look from that park, you can turn and see the backside of those condos, those high-rise condos that's down there. And then you see the side of the bridge that's facing us before you can even get to South Philly and everything. You're nowhere near Dave and Buster's and all of that when you see it, but it looks something like this. Because all that, what I'm saying is there, this would be where the little condos would be. The Ben Franklin Bridge would be here, you see. This is where we would be seeing Camden and seeing the little, ship that's docked on the Camden shoreline.
I have to go there. I haven't been down there.
Yeah, just go to Columbus Boulevard and ride from the Aramingo going towards South Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to see the scene that like looks something like this. When you're looking around, you're going to see it. You're like, oh, all right, I see what he's talking about. Then you would go to the little park that's there and you really can see it.
You mean Penn Treaty Park?
There you go. That's the park. Thanks, Sue-Ann.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Penn Treaty Park. That's the park, Nadine, okay?
Okay.
And that's the park where you would see like this type of look like what we have going on here thus far. All right, let's take it a little bit further now. You saw how where I rose that little enclave up to say how high it's going to go. And then now I start coming around the same way, but now I can cut that shorter, you see? Because that's the embankment, you see? So now I can bring that down to here like this lifts up and then comes down into here. So then I take my eraser and I erase out this area in here. And then that little bit of pencil that's there. So I know a lot of people probably already got theirs going, but as I'm doing this, I don't want you to think you have to change yours. Just look at yours and say, okay, is it making optical sense? Does it look like it's possibly a terrain?
Right.
Did I fool myself to make me believe that it's the terrain? You see, that's what you want to do. So before I go any further, I would do lines like this. Now notice how I'm making the lines. They're coming down, and then now I make those little, this is why Sue-Ann thought it was water at first. But if you look at the bottom of most embankments, when they make them at the shoreline, because the sand, the dirt here is going to be different than the dirt that's here, which is sand. So this sand is looser. This is more like natural earth that we would see in our backyard almost, mixed in with sand, you see? This sand here is a little bit darker and denser. But notice how I'm putting it in. I'm coming down off the side of this, off the top of what I'm saying the top of this mountain is, or the top of this little hill embankment is, doing a little little movement to make it look like it's been smoothed out and down. So come out, in and out. Off the top, in, then out. Straight off the top. You see, I'm trying to stay level with what I have here. But stay level, then you start to see this idea more as I do it. Because then when you get down here to where these ovals connect, because of the distance idea that we're trying to prove, you see what starts happening? I'm still moving in that way, but in an overlap at an extreme to where you're not seeing it anymore, you see? So that means that this would curve like so. You see, it will curve back because now you're almost looking down on it, you see? See how that looks? See how it feels like it's a land terrain or a land, you know, like trying to scene? Yes, no, not yet?
Yes.
All right. So then now yours should be trying to look the same way. Remember, we got to say where the water is. So the water is here and around here. So then we can say that this little bit is out in the mass of the water here. So then we can bring this line right here. This would be formulating where the shoreline is. And we can follow that same line if you can. You want to follow the same movement because that's what this area is made for this water to be able to go to this location like this, just in case, you know, they have a inclement situation and this water rushes up. This area now is set for this water to stop right here, not unless it's tsunami effect going on. Get the idea now, ladies? You see it?
Yes.
See, so long as you made this line and then you made this line, the shoreline is going to follow that same movement. You can make it as deep or as shallow as you want. All right. Now, remember the other two lines that I talked about? We talked about the shoreline, and then now we got to do the other line to show where the drop off is. Now, this line doesn't stay there. Remember, this is the line where we say the waves come, or this is where you can see where the deeper, bluer water is. A lot of times what happens is these lines which represents the water moving, would be, how would you say, caught up in an undertow that may drop off when the water is coming back underneath, to show you that there's a separation from the deeper waters to the shallow waters coming up on the shoreline. And then notice, once again, I'm doing this left to right once again. Now, what's going to happen is when you come in with your marker, you're going to do the same movement. You see that? So then now what happens in this area in between the depths and the shoreline is the shallow water area. So now you can put a couple of lines here and there, you see, just real smaller lines. And mainly a lot of it is coming back from the shore, you see. Then you can put the extra little, line around it to say that's the froth. That's that white froth that hits the shoreline, you see. And you got to make it small now. It can't be huge because we're saying this is at a distance. So this shallow area, a lot of times, if you ever look at water, just take some time and go on Google too and put in shoreline pictures of any favorite place you want to go to or you've been. And you'll see, they'll show you pictures from this distance and things like this. And you're able to see where the darker blue water is and where the shallow water is, and then how the water is hitting the shoreline that's been, adjusted by man. You know what I mean? Yeah, even the water back here, you see? You can put a couple of lines. Now these lines back here, you can put closer together, you see, because it's at a distance. But then you can put a couple of loose ones here and there. You see how that feels like it's going behind something?
Yeah.
So, people do not pay attention. They need to pay attention more. You know what I'm saying, Nadine?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to call me when I'm doing the class. I just don't get it. I let everybody know they won't come online for us, Nadine.
I
But they
know.
sure will call me on my phone and interrupt us. But I won't let them, ladies. I won't let them. You see? So then look, this is where we can either put the other elements that we was talking about. But just know that this is the beach, right? If this is the beach, you see, even these lines don't have to be a whole bunch. This is where you can say where you can put some of the smaller little tents, little ovals for tents, or the umbrellas, as we say. See what I'm doing? Can you see those? Yeah, you can see those. Okay, then you can put them different sizes and put a whole bunch of them there on there, make them overlap. Put smaller ones back here to make it seem like there's people all over this beachhead because it's a popular beachhead possibly, you see? So you would put the smaller ovals near the deepest part that's going higher up on your page. You notice how when I put those there, you see those that I just put there? Yeah. And then these here, does it seem like it's a distance thing happening?
Oh, okay.
You see, now I can put the little, umbrella design that we normally see on umbrellas with the different colors, you know what I mean, for the way an umbrella is made. And you can put those little embellishments on there, you see? You see what we just did? Just to make it so that it looks like a real umbrella, you see? And at that distance, you would see people with umbrellas like that or tents. So you can make that into a tent. You see a tented area.
Sorry.
You see what I did? How I made that a tented area?
Yeah.
It's just that easy. And then it makes sense. You see, it'll make sense optically speaking. That means when somebody looks at your piece, they're going to be looking at it optically and say, oh yeah, wow, I really feel like I'm at a shoreline somewhere. That means your composition is optically sound. You made the person believe that there's a scene there that's not really there. Beautiful. You see? So then now all I would do is just go deeper with embellishing on my umbrellas. Umbrellas. Gotta start enunciating right, Nadine.
Yeah.
It's not gonna sound good on the recording, right? You know what I mean? What did Don say? He's making the words like Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Sorry, Mr. President, you do make up a lot of words, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has his senior moments.
Yeah. We'll all have those moments one day. Yes.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't be in a situation to have that much control like a president where everybody tries to use it against you.
Woo!
You
Ain't that the truth?
Yes. So, all right, that's enough politics for me. Back to the artwork. So then look, we can put a kite up here if we want. You can put any type of kite that you want to put up there, any shape that you can make work. I'm not going to really worry about the perspective for that up there. It's in the sky. Could I make it big where it could take up this whole area right here if I was having difficulty drawing that area? Yeah, I would do that if I had difficulty drawing that area. Any place where you're having difficulty, figure out a way where you can put something there that would cover that area but not take away from the intent of your piece. See what I'm saying, ladies?
Yeah.
So that's why we put the young lady here standing. So now I can put her taller if I want to really play up that idea. That's what I was going to do in the first place, to show that I wasn't even going to show a terrain there. I just was going to show this lady looking like she's standing here on something. We can't make out what she's standing on, but we know she's there. You see that? So then I moved the scene. I superimposed it. I took it up to her waistline that we're showing, and right on the back of her thighs. You see that? So then now I would erase out where this young lady is. You see, now that I got it covered, notice what I'm doing, ladies and everybody in the virtual world. Notice that I'm acting like everything is hollow until I'm ready to figure out to make it solid.
Gotcha.
You see, that's the way you can simplify a scene when you're making it up, or like how I said, when you're doing an actual scene. This is water. Once again, this is oil on paper. So you can use the same idea in here as well when you're doing a live scene, what they call plain air, outside, you know what I mean? And you're on location painting, whether it be a watercolor, a pen and ink, a ballpoint pen, a Sharpie drawing. You're still going to use the same ideas that we're using here to make your scene. You see? Doesn't matter. All right. So then if we can see it in the natural realm and recreate it, right? Then to make it up is the same thing. It's just that you're in control of what the terrain is going to look like.
Right.
You're in control on how this world is going to look. We could have made this Mars if we wanted to. It said there was a beach on Mars and this lady's a Martian. And, she's from, Mars, and she's hanging out at, a Red Sea. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying this is the way you would break up space if you're having difficulty or you wanted to block in space because you didn't want to do a lot more work in certain areas.
Right.
So now look, before I even put our arms on, this is where we can put our hat on, you see? Now I'm going to start with just the stove of the hat first. Then put that band around there, right? And then that may dictate where the rim is going to go. So maybe I'll make this a little bit rounder to really feel like a real, summer type of, spring is summer sun hat type of thing. There you go. You see how we did that? Yeah. Now that I have that in there, right, now I can come in and do what? Erase out the brim. Because the brim is covering a lot of that embankment we made. Erase out the inside of the stove because we don't have to know where our head is. Having the stove there is implying where our head is. Erase out her head out the brim because it's covering a lot of her face. So now you don't have to deal with any facial features from the side, you see? Honestly, this is the way that I do it, and look how it feels. It feels like we have somebody or someone looking over a private location, right?
Yeah.
How do we feel about our images, Sue Ann and Nadine? Does yours feel like that? At this point? Pretty much. Kind of, sort of, right?
Kind of, sort of.
You guys, too much, Nadine. All right, let me hurry up so I can take the share the screen off for a moment. We can see what everybody got, you know what I mean? But yeah, did you guys got the tent area? Did you decide to put the kite? If you did, then I'll put the kite here. What I would do now for this person is Even make a little small circle like that for the head and just show almost like a little box body. You see, like so. It's so far away you can't make out that person, but what we can make out is the line that's coming from that person to make our kite that you may be flying. See, and then now when it gets here, now you can say what type of kite you're going to fly. So I always do that triangular one because it's the most common shape. Like if you want a real cheap, inexpensive kite, that shape right there, you always going to get. This would be the beam in the middle, and this would be the beams on the side. Sometimes if you get a real good one, it'll have another one here. And then the strings will be connecting, you know. But then it can do different effects and movements and stuff. So then now the string will come here. See what I'm doing? Then I bring this string here. See? And then now we can say a string is coming from here. And that's the other one from the other side. And now we have all our strings connected to that one line, you see? And then now you can make this knot a little bit bigger because it's up in the sky on the same level where this lady is at, basically. Put a little knot here, you know, just to make it seem like these strings are knotted together the way they need to be. They can be thicker up here, then all of a sudden you taper it down as it goes down. And you see what just that little bit of thickness does to the eye? It makes it seem like that kite is really way up in the sky, but on her level here. See, so now let's take our focus back to this young lady. I'm not even going to put the bathing suit on her yet. We're just going to put our arm here first. You see one arm here. And then we're going to say that she's got her arm out to hold the hat because she's high up. So it may be a lot of wind up there. You know what I mean? So then now she has to hold the hat like so. So I'm always going to break it down from the elbow to the wrist and so on and so forth. So that in this way, I have better control and management of the shape that I want to put there. You see? And I could just put the fingers like so, like a mitten. Just to say that the hat is right here. And she's holding the brim. Maybe the brim turns up. You see what I mean? So that in this way it rolls under, almost like a sombrero. I'm just having fun now, ladies. Yeah. I don't know. You know, you just start adding. That's why I was hoping Sue Ann would start adding in on me. Yeah, Don, put a bracelet on her. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know? I'm telling
you. You know what's so deep, Don?
What's up?
Your vision reminded me of a trip. And I was like, I've seen this view. I've seen this view.
There it is.
So when we go back to the other camera, I'll show it.
Okay,
just
cool.
To show how by you being so observant, it's in your brain. And like I just remembered the scene. And it wasn't quite as, I didn't think it was as detailed as how you are making this suggestion today. But then I go and I'm looking at the photo and I'm like, wow, it's on point. Like how you're saying the water comes up and the different depths.
Observation is key. That's why I say whether you're making it up subjective or it's direct, objective. It's still the same philosophy, the same edges and lines are going to be used. The only difference is that we control this here now. But where is it coming from? This is the part where it becomes the psychiatric, the metaphysical, and all that good stuff, where people go, woo. It's because we've seen it somewhere. We've been out in the world, you know, walked on the terrain. You know what I mean? You don't walked on the planet, however you want to call it. You don't walked in places, been to the edges of certain terrestrial, you know, terrains and terrestriaries and stuff like that, to see a lake, to see an ocean, to see a beachhead, to see a jetty. How many of them have you seen where they all follow the same idea? Well, that's in your subconscious.
Right.
All I'm doing is getting you to put lines down that you're going to say in your own mind, oh my God, I've seen that before. But
Right?
did you really? You see what I'm saying, Nadine?
Yeah.
Did you really? Or did I just put certain marks down that made you recall an experience that you had?
And that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, absolutely. And so that I think that's the beauty of creating art,
Yes.
because it becomes a relationship between the artist and the viewer.
Yep. But then it's first it's the artist and the terrain or the intent content. Then it's the artist and the viewer. Because once we approach what it is that artist is doing, then we can appreciate it based upon being in environments. And you'll look at it and be like, wow, no, wow, I feel that one. Like, once again, I pull it back out when everybody went, ham over this over on the Facebook.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody for it, but that's what that explains. It really proves everything that we're talking about without being big-headed, because it's actually how you have to see to move around the planet. And you're using the idea of that to make other scenes. I mean, this is what cartoonists do all the time. Think about all the cartoons you ever watched. From Bugs Bunny and everything else, all the way up and down to Japanimation and all of that. What are they doing? They're doing the same thing we just did. To make you believe a space or place or a moment in time.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful that you can do this. You can do it intently, or you can have your own little imaginary situation. Now this is where I pull the markers out, right? And now this is where you have options too, because what can happen is like a lot of times you don't have to draw everything out. You can leave some spaces open and just leave them where they are. So when you start filling in with the micro marker now, you see, so if you have a micro marker or a Sharpie micro marker, they're good for this too as well. So Suan, that stack of Sharpies that you showed me, I saw some of those micro markers in there. That's like this. So pull those out and have at it, have fun. Because what's going to happen is look, I start filling in based upon the background first. And then this way you can augment if you want to. You see how I'm taking a marker and yeah, I know what's there, but then I take another chance to augment again. You see? Now I play with the water and I don't do a continuous line. I use that sketchy break apart line, you see? That adds more, how would you say, ideas of reality to the piece, because if you look at lines in the distance, they don't stay continuous in the distance. They break up, meaning that you have small areas. If I show you on a tape here, what happened in the distance in an area like this, when you're looking, you'll see lines that'll be breaking like this. You see that down there in the tape, Nadine and Suan?
Yeah.
You'll have a line like that in the distance. That means that stuff is either rolling towards you or rolling away from you. You see, that's why you put that almost like it's like a sketchy dotted line, but it's not really dotted. It just has breaks in it every now and then to show the distance idea, you see? Because as things come forward, now these lines have to be more consistent. You know what I mean? There are not a lot of sketchy lines up in here. Like, well, I won't come down there just yet. Look, I'll come here to the mountain. Here, that's in the front. So yeah, underneath the water, you're still gonna have that effect happening. Remember, we have a little bit of the rocks coming out like it's like a jetty almost. And then now here comes the mountain. See? Long as I get it up over that back line, you see, it's gonna feel like that. Now I embellish a little bit more, take it up a little bit higher to make it drop down there. I wanna play up that little water on the back side even more. And then boom, you see? So then now this line, which is the water, I make it real sketchy too as well. And that's the line that's coming with this to come across here, you see? All right, hold on. Let me put in the top of the embankment here. It's just showing the back line of this mountain here, you see? Now, if your person is bigger and she's taking up this area, then you don't want your mountain, you don't want to ink in your lines over top of your young lady. You just got to be mindful and make sure you don't forget where you place things so you don't cover it up by mistake. Because it's kind of hard to get the marker out of regular paper or watercolor paper, Bristol paper. These are the different papers that we use, everybody. Card stock, that's what it's going to be called. So you can run the tape back and listen to everything that we talked about as far as supplies and really be able to go to these supplies and buy them, Jerry's Autorama is a good one. Even if you order offline and you use some of the terms in his search engine, you'll see that things are going to come up. You see? So, don't worry yourself about these supplies. Watercolor paper is fine. Ledger paper, which would be your printing paper from your printer, your bubble jet or your laser printer at home, 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17, or 11 by 14, whichever one of your printer deals with. You can get a ream of that paper and draw on it and use the ink on there. The problem becomes is when you want to use the wet material like your markers and your watercolor swing. That's when you want your cardstock or the Bristol paper, which will be at least 90 pounds. The gauge of it will be 90 pounds. So somewhere like when you showed your pad, Sue-Ann, on there would be either in the lower right hand or at the lower portions of the pad, it would tell you what the weight of the paper is, what's the mils of the paper, which is the thickness of the paper, things like that. But you want to see at least 90 pounds when you start dealing with wetness on paper, so it'll be strong enough. Yeah, when I take this off of sharing, I'll show you that on your paper, okay? But let's go back to me doing this inking in. So that's what we're doing. We're using a marker and we're inking in. Now, a lot of times, some people would like to say pen and ink, but this is not really pen and ink now, what we're doing. We're using a marker. So this is a non-traditional thing. You know what I mean? But if we were using ink, we would have a crow quill or something or a brush, and we would have India ink. So we would have this here, which would be your India ink, everybody. Sorry about that. You would have India ink. This is speedball, right? So then you would have crow quills and stuff, and I'll pull those out probably in a second or in the next class that we have so everybody can see them, because they're little metal tips that you would have and you put into what they call a stylus, which would be a holder. And you would draw with that, dipping it into the Indian ink and drawing with that. That would be truly a traditional pen and ink at that point. You see? Other than that, right now what we're doing is really like a non-traditional way of working, which is with a marker and you're inking in this way, you see? Which generally speaking, with the way the computer is, it works either which way when you scan this information in. So that's what I'm an advocate of even more so now, because I see more people buying these high-end, pieces of equipment, and they're just using it just to print out, certain simple things and not realizing what type of device they have in their home and what they can actually do with it. And these are one of the things that you can do with a device like your 4-in-1 printers, because you can scan in drawings like this. After you do them all in pure line, you can scan it in, right? And then now you have a black and white version forever and ever. So then you can print this out on any paper that can fit through your printer, which will be the 90 to 110 pound Bristol paper and things like this. You see that'll all fit inside your printer, everybody, you see? So you notice, you see what I'm doing? I'm just doing that same line up top that I did on the bottom here to show how gravel and other things may build up at the base of these embankments, you see? See how that looks? See how I just inked it in, but I didn't follow my lines to the T. I took a time to do what? To do what I've been saying the whole time, embellish, exaggerate it a little bit more, put a little bit of an extra wiggle on the line to make it feel like it's possibly some type of terrain, you see? Take your time, everybody. It doesn't have to be perfect. We got to make you feel it. Now watch, look. I'm right where my lady is. I stop my inking in right there. Because I know I want my lady in there. You see? So then now. Uh-oh, sorry about that, everybody. That's my other device that I had hooked up. I was trying to watch the Facebook stuff and stuff, Nadine, to watch it.
Yeah, I had to put it down.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
you know,
good.
I check and I have to check the signal, make sure we're streaming okay.
Yeah. That's what you just heard from me. That was my tablet that just said disconnected from my Wi-Fi speakers that I have going. So yeah, you see everybody what we're doing there? And the more and more I embellish, just think about what does the ragged edge of a man-made embankment look like? You see, just think, you've seen them before, everybody. Now, this is for my 50 and plus people. We've seen this stuff before.
Yes.
That's the whole thing with this exercise that we're doing every Sunday. It's just helping you to recall things and reconnect with your surroundings and everything around you. That's our main thing that we want you to do. Even if you're 80 or 90 and you're watching us, that's the same thing, but it's to help you just have fun with remembering your surroundings and your past to be able to reconnect it with what your steps going to be forward at 90. You see, so it all works out because we've all seen this before. It's not like we haven't seen it. You see, and then now I make the line, and I can make it a little bit thicker now for the kite, you see? And then now when it gets about halfway, I make it just one single line going to the guide and make it, you know, how would you say, turn into a dash line too as well. And notice how that extra little bit of thickness make you feel like that's really coming from the ground and coming up. He's holding a line. Yeah. You see? And now you can put your stick figure, everybody. Or what looks like a stick figure. You know, put a little shadow behind them, a couple of dots. You see? That'd be like a shadow behind them. Have some fun, everybody. Just have fun. Just remember, if you're making up a scene like this on your own, where you put the horizon line counts. Put the horizon line higher like we did today, we get more of the land. Like the other one we did last week and the week before. This is the one we did 2 weeks before with the lemons. Remember, everybody? So we did another one where the horizon line was high so we can have more of a feeling of the land, you see? Now, on the other one that we did a couple of weeks ago, you see, we have the horizon line drop down lower, which means we have more interplay with the sky. You see, that's the whole thing I want you to start seeing to understand how you can move around that horizon line, or you can use the horizon line when you're out doing a drawing, or you may be just taking a picture with your phone of a scene that just excited you from your car. Or you may be at a restaurant and you're looking out the window and you see something that catches your attention, pull your camera out. For real, pull your camera out, bust a shot of it, you know, get that. You know what I mean? I'm an advocate of it, everybody. Like I got a little Canon that I use sometimes. It's like a one shot. And I pull the, yeah, here it is. I pull this little joker out every now and then, you see? Hold on. I pull this little joker out every now and then.
Okay.
So then this way I can take shots real quick. You see that? Look, right on the back, you can already see it. I don't even have to look through. I would just start pressing it and moving. I'm on the train. If I want faces, I'll walk down the train with it at my waist like this. So I can see the screen and I just hold the button down and just shoot it multiple times. So as you walking past the faces, you get candid faces. I don't want to give away all the secrets, everybody, but I'll give that one away. That's the one that'll help you with cameras and stuff when you're taking candid pictures of people so you can use, you know, without them knowing. Ooh, that's bad, Don. No, it's not. It's the artist's life. That's what we do. Get that scene, you know what I mean? Do this, do that. Yes. See, now what I do is I make a thumbnail up here to make it seem like her hand is doing what? Really trying to grab on to things, you see? So just make a little makeshift. And then now I show where her elbow is, have some fun curling under. Show some of the forearm, you know, curve that. Now I make the bicep, tricep, and deltoid region right there, bang. Tricep, bang, right into the underarm. You see that? And then that's the easiest way to make it a one-arm unit. Not to draw it out as a one-arm unit. Draw it out first, draw it out as separate units, and then put them all together when you come towards what you may call an end for your piece. Meaning like how we're doing now, and I'm showing some of her elbow on the side here, just cutting in just a little bit, you see? Her neck now. All right, we may want to show the bottom of her chin here, right? Like so. May want to show some of the breasts here on the side. She is a female, so we got to show that. Now we can say where the one piece would be off the side of the shoulder, you see? That just that one little oval like that. And then bring it down across the back and over to the other side of the neck. You have a one piece right there. We don't want it to look like a male tank top, but we want it to have that feeling of being a female one piece, you see? So then now we have our shoulder out on this side, we just make it like so. And now we can just put an arm going up like this. This is the back of the neck, you see? So we can make like our hair is going up. Put one bally there to make it look like it's either a ball earring or a hoop earring that's coming down, you see? A little bit of a hair in the background, you know, she may have her hair pulled up, you see? Yeah, I'll put a hole in here and make it look like it's an earring. There we go. You see? So then this way now, her arm is over here on the side, and now I can make it seem like her hand is doing this. That's by showing a couple of fingers up there. Makes it feel like she's grabbing the hat from the opposite side so it doesn't fly away. See that? So then now we bring that other side of the hat around. Then we bring the other side of the hat here. If we want the ruffle or that bend up, then we just put it in there. Okay, let's just put it in there. Around the bottom of the hand here, so it looks like she's pushing it up or holding it. And now you have a little flip up. Now we can make that dark there, like that's the underneath of the hat folding over itself, you see? Now we can put, you know, a little band around the top of the hat here. So I'll put lines like this so you still can put color in it, you see? See those lines I put in the band around the hat? So then this way you still can put color in there if you wanted to color it in and make it red or something like this. So the same thing with her one piece. Now what I do is I make the one piece here, then here, you see? She's to the side, then here, then this piece would have to come in here to show the side of the leg here. See that, everybody?
Mhm.
Just that simple. So then now you would have to put a small little line to show that that's the crease where the buttocks or the cheeks come together. Now she has a one piece on. See? So now what I can do now is, oh, hold on. Let me put this mountain stuff in between her sombrero or her sun hat and her arm. Remember, we got to maintain making her look like, if you have that there. If you don't have that there, don't worry about it. You just got to look at how you have yours set up for your intent, you see? So on mine's here, the perspective I took with the young lady that I have here is she's overlapping all this mountain terrain here, or this embankment terrain, you see? And this would be the edge here of that embankment down below. See? Now we just put lines in to be more descriptive, to show that idea even more of that sand or that area being man-made. See, does it feel like that on the screen, everybody, ladies? Yeah? Okay. Now watch what happens. Now I erase out the lines in my young lady with the kneaded eraser and the lines out of my background there. See? And now you still have areas where you can go in and embellish some more and have what we said last time, which would be what? Mark invention. How do we make up a mark to fool the human eye? Now you see what's starting to happen. My line is starting to break up because of what I said earlier. I pressed kind of hard so you guys could see. And what happens when you do that on inferior watercolor paper, like I'm working on, it'll start to break up because you're erasing too hard. So be mindful of that, everybody, okay? Be mindful of the pressure that you're using when you're erasing, and in conjunction with that, the thickness of the paper that you're on. Because the thicker the paper, the rougher you can be. The thinner the paper, you have to have a lighter touch. If you don't, you'll rip through like how I just did. So I have to take my time and it's just dab it. You see what I'm doing with the kneaded eraser, everybody? Not really scrubbing, just dabbing to get that charcoal out of those environments, out of that area. See? And even still, that's, taking it out too as well. So just be mindful of the type of paper that you have. Because depending upon the type of paper, certain things are happening. And that's what's happening, what I was explaining to you guys earlier. See that? So you just come back and reestablish a line after you erase out. Then you can come back and, like how we were saying, we got the guy with the tint there. So, now I put the rest of my umbrellas in there. See? See, you just start embellishing a little bit more.
Guys, I'm going to go ahead and hit the last part of church.
Say again?
I'm going to go ahead and hit the last part of church, start at 12.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming by, Sue-Ann. Thanks for spending the
Thank
time
you,
with us. And enjoy your religious day. Enjoy your time at church.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
Okay. All right. See you then. Say a prayer for us all and for the world.
I sure will.
All righty.
Bye for now.
All right. Bye for now. Or ciao for now, as they say, right? Still there, Nadine? Hello? All right, everybody.
Sorry, I put it on mute.
Oh, you had to deal with Richard again?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'll be so happy when I'm back in my office space. Just
Yeah, I hear
close the door.
you. Yep, I hear you.
Out of sight, out of mind.
There it is. There it is. But now you see how we're at that point now where I've inked out everything in a basic idea. Then what happens is, Nadine, that's when you come back and you start adding all your little embellishments. You can put a cloud, like I'll start it off. I'll put a cloud back here. And notice how I'm doing it. I'm just, that breakup of a line there. And then now have it come this way. See, that's a cloud there. So now I can make it seem like it's moving this way by doing the movements like so. And now that would be the bottom of the cloud, and then most of the cloud is rolling from my right to the left. And that's all it takes, is little embellishments of movements like so to make you believe where this idea is going or coming from. You see, and then it's a left or right motion underneath the cloud to make us believe that it's sitting on air too as well. So spend some time just looking. That's why I'm an advocate of just observing areas and spaces, because the more you observe, the more you take in to be able to utilize and use in your creations. You know, to show you the water back here. The reason why I'm holding a marker like this, where you see the total back of my hand, is so that the felt in the inside can be flat to the paper. So I get total usage of the felt and not have to scratch it up with the metal shaft that's there. You see? And notice how I'm using these sketchy lines and I'm coming straight to my mountain. You see? Stopping right there. See how that's feeling like water now?
Yeah.
So I would do the same thing, but then I wouldn't put it all over. I'll leave a couple just real light, you see? Light meaning barely anything there or nothing there at all, you see? And then now I would come down to where I was saying where that line is, you see it? And now I would just beef up this line to see where the darknesses are, but then notice the movement. It's still that left to right motion. You know, it's almost like your hand is like the stylus inside of a printer. You know what I mean? You can think about it like that. And if you already have finger dexterity, this should be nothing for you to do, to hold your hand in that position. If it is a problem, then that's when you can use a plumb, which is another straight edge or something like this that you can use. Or you can do like how I'm about to do. You can take another brush, you know, longer, put it someplace, and then put your hand on top of it, you see? And then now you can move as so. And that'll help some of my people that are elders that may have finger dexterity issues, hand issues. Another one is you can take a paper towel or another piece of paper, everybody. And you would take another piece of paper and put your hand on that and then lean so that in this way you wouldn't put your sweaty palm, or if you got some graphite on there, you wouldn't put a residue on the page. You won't smudge around your materials, you know what I mean? That's on the surface. If you notice what I'm doing, you see? Then you just move the paper away. You see, so then now, once you get the control or you get your strength back, everybody, then you can do that. You see, then you can move like how I'm moving. See, so then now, from the shoreline here, now it's just a couple here and there, you know, a couple here and there. Have fun with it. Just let it go. Let it drag and skip. You can feel it and hear it drag and skip. You know, there you go. Yeah, so it was good that we had Sue Ann come and spend a little bit of time before she went to church. That's greatly appreciated, Sue Ann. Once again, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
You see that, Nadine? See how we got the water idea? And it's feeling like that whole depth of idea thing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? Yeah. Uh-oh, I lost my other camera because the drone went out on me. Sorry about that, Nadine. Let's unshare this one here. Yeah, it's 11:40. We can cut that there. What you think, Nadine?
Yep, absolutely.
Stop sharing. Yeah, I lost my other camera. The phone went out on me, Nadine. Sorry about that. Ooh, you're looking good, Nadine. I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it to the side. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, way to go, Nadine. Way to go. You could have curved it a little bit more, but that second line for the deep water is really working for you.
This right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
You have the feeling there, and then you got your little pudgy girl over there on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, she pudgy.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a hefty little mama. Yeah.
Well, you know, when I went back over, I was like, I'm supposed to be doing it in pencil, but I did it in marker. So
there you go.
It was
you're
wherever
feeling
the line
confident. Yeah, you're feeling confident. That's what we want to build up in everybody. That type of confidence, Nadine. Just to want to just, you know, oh, all right, I didn't get it in pencil. I feel comfortable enough to just do it with my marker. Bang, just do it in. Way to go, Nadine. Way to go.
Now, I tell you, this was just so amazing, Don, because what it did was it was triggering my memory.
Yes, that's what I wanted to do. That was the main thing.
I've seen this before. I've seen this before. That's like
Mhm.
kind of where I went with it. So what I'm gonna do is, let me see. I am going to go and share the screen. Let
Mhm.
me see if I can,
Show us the picture that you're saying that you took that's reminiscent of our scene that we did today.
yes, let me see. Okay, I want to share a portion of the screen.
Just share the whole screen, and then you can control that.
Yeah, it's within an application. That's why I was
Oh,
like,
my bad, my bad.
I'll see if I can do it without,
Mhm.
alrighty. Is this one full? This,
Or you can go to your gallery like how you did before.
well, yeah, the problem was I had to search in my gallery.
Disconnected.
Let's see.
Connected.
Nope. What am I sharing? I don't want to share that. Okay. Let me do this. I'm gonna see if I can do it appropriate, get it up here. There you go. Do that. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, yep. You see the shoreline, the way it's running up on the shoreline?
Yep. Okay.
See
That I was just
movement?
like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That's what we're trying to do here,
Yes.
right?
You
And
see how
then,
much more you can do with it? We
yeah,
simplified it, but look at all those waves in there. How many different waves are crashing up on the shoreline,
yep.
running up on the deep. If you look in the upper right-hand corner up there, you
Look
can
at
see
that.
where the shoreline, see the
Look,
waves? Look at the waves
look at the
over the
way.
deep part. You see?
Yep.
Yeah, look at the left to right motion.
Yep.
Look at
There
all
it
of
is.
that. All in
Yep.
the sand, you see?
There
Yeah,
it is.
Nadine. Way to go. Thank you for that, Nadine.
Right? I was just like, he's calling it. Now, let me show you the one that I was like, I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. That one, yeah. You see how we go around the corner?
Yep.
See how that the tree up here looks like somebody could be, that's where you were standing basically.
Yep.
Taking a picture. Oh, look at that beautiful blue of the sky and the water.
Yep.
Yeah. Then see, look, we didn't even get to put the reflection of the mountain in the water.
Nope.
See that reflection at the base?
And if you look at the top of the mountain, the shadow cast from the clouds.
Yes.
I noticed I noticed that too when this is in California.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the different beaches in California.
Way to go.
This was just, I mean, just to see the certain things that I was seeing was just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably want to, I'm going to do a video or something where I show how what you've been sharing,
Mm-hmm.
the experiences, the suggestions are triggered
Yes.
from memory. And this memory, by being able to do that, by saying, oh my goodness, I remember this, it makes it so much easier
To recreate.
Because
you've been there. You're not like a
I've
younger
been there.
person that
Right.
hasn't been around and really stood places and looked and spent a lot of time someplace just pondering.
Mhm.
So now that you're in this stage, you're seeing everything. Your subconscious takes it all in. Your conscious mind is what starts making you not see it. So then now when you slow it down with your conscious mind, it's a wrap. You know what I
It's a
mean?
wrap, yeah.
Hey, it's a wrap. You know what I mean?
And it
So,
was,
yeah.
and you know, I was shopping yesterday and I was looking up at the clouds. Instead of saying don't look up, like the movie that's like don't look up, I'm like look up. And I was seeing the clouds and how they were moving.
Yes.
And how they were overlapping.
Yes.
And then there's the part where you say where it's kind of misty, where it's lighter.
Right. If you look at those pictures you have, you can see that translucency as it was coming off the bottom.
Right.
Where you had the mountain on the left side of your picture.
Yep.
And then that mist came up from underneath because that's coming off the top of the mountain and then meshing with the cloud that's right there. That's about 15
Mhm.
to 20,000 feet up.
Mhm.
So you get to see all of that beauty. And the more and more you look, I'm telling you, the more and more you learn to add into your creations if you choose
Right.
to.
And that was just it. I was just like,
That's
wow.
the part, that's the magnifique part. That's the part
Yep.
you want to see, because that's the part that everybody wants to see in the artwork. Now
Right.
think about when you look at the impressionists, the landscapes and cityscapes and marina paintings that they did. Now you can really appreciate. Look at Thomas Eakins' paintings of the rowers on the water now, and you
Right.
really can appreciate these type of scenes now.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yes.
use them.
Yeah, it was so cool. I was just like, wow. And I was like, I was supposed to be like shopping, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna sit here and look up. And I looked
Yeah.
up, I took some pictures, I posted one.
I'm telling you, when you do that, Nadine, I'm telling you, you'd be shocked the stuff that you see. The sky, especially in Pennsylvania, since we're in a high point, you got a lot of beautiful sky that happens over Pennsylvania. And I tell people all the time, take advantage of it. Look at these clouds and look at the colors and everything else that happens, man. It's real dramatic for us when we're looking at the sky here. Invest in it. Look up.
Yeah. And, you know, I think what's also important, because maybe somebody might be looking and saying, well, I can't draw like Don.
So
or
what?
I can't draw
like Nadine.
Nadine. And I mean, but it's really about what you were saying before. It's called what? Mark
invention.
Mark invention.
Yeah,
It's
making
your
up a mark.
invention of what a mark, what of your
with
mark.
an edge. No, or
Of
what
an
an edge appears to be.
Okay.
That's
And
all
so-
it is. You mark invention. So if I see a plant, I'm trying to make a mark or a line, you see, that resembles the edge of that plant. That's mark invention.
Right.
I'm seeing the density of a forest line in the distance. I can't draw every leaf. So I have to make up a mark that shows you that density without showing you the leaf work. Mark invention.
Yeah.
The coiliness, one more, Nadine. The coiliness of our hair, like we both have locks.
Yeah.
So to get that lock, for me to be able to draw your locks and you draw mine, we have to make up a line, an invention, a mark invention that would resemble our hair, but it's not really your hair. So you're inventing a mark to make us believe something that's not there, like your plant in the background, or your blinds, or the tapestry that's next to you on your left side. How would we do that weave? In that tapestry, we would have to make up a mark that would, imply that type of tapestry. So now you get the general idea of what we're saying when we say mark invention.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, because when I was away on vacation, I was, drawing, sitting on the deck drawing, and you were saying next time, Nadine, take pictures. I did take pictures.
There you go.
And the whole time I was thinking, how do you draw a tree with leaves if you're capturing a moment? You can't draw every leaf.
Right.
So, and I was just like, so how do I approach that?
That's the mark invention.
If I can't draw every leaf.
Right.
And
you look at the shadows. And one trick is you can look at the shadows and then make up a mark for the shadows.
Oh.
You see? Because the light is going to follow. As far as surface and light in our equation is concerned, like we go line, shape, form, light, and surface. What we're talking about now is the last two equations, light and surface. You see? So if we're looking at the light, right, we can look at the dark areas, which means that the light is going to follow the dark areas. Or you can say it in reverse, the dark areas follow the light, and then just consider yourself with light. But it's easier a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, is to go with your darknesses first, because your lights are going to follow the darkness. That's the easiest way.
Gotcha.
You see? And then now you would make up a mark, like how we made to make you believe dirt and gravel.
Mm-hmm.
You would make up a mark that's based upon the edges that you're looking at or that you perceive in your mind's eye to be able to draw. So to make up that tree line, it'll be a whole bunch of little ovalets that you would make.
Okay.
In the darkness. Maybe next week we'll do something with the tree line so we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or what you can do is send me one of your pictures that you like, Nadine, and that could be the subject for next week.
Okay.
And then I would work that out and show all that idea on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, you can see the total idea of mark and venture, because now I can show you the footage, and we can zoom right in on the footage where we're saying we're using this idea because of the edges that we're seeing. Right. So as a practice, when you're looking around now, like what mark would you make up for your windows for the way the blinds are, but look at how the shadows are coming through your blinds.
Yeah, from the pane, from the window pane.
Right. So then what mark would you make up to make us believe that separation so we still know it's the house structure? See what I'm saying? That's what you're doing. Anything that's real intricate on the surface, you're trying to make up a mark to make us believe it.
Okay.
Because it's so minute or so small that to draw that, you would drive yourself crazy. But some people do that. That's that photorealism. Photorealism, they do that. They'll sit there for hours and days drawing out that scene like that, so you can really feel like it's a real scene. Right. So yeah, that's not our intent. Our intent is to make everybody feel comfortable, and we're being expressives. We're expressing this idea of nature. We're expressing the idea of a beach scene that we just made. Okay, so yeah, thank you for that question. And ooh, I still got coffee left there. Let me drink some of that, man. All right, that was a mouthful, Nadine.
Now you remember the picture I showed you, like I was on this is the conversation that we were talking about that I focused on. Let me do a quick share. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it on the laptop. Yeah. Okay. And that would be a good one to do. You want to do that one?
Well, I that's what I was trying to do before when I was sitting at the
Oh, this is an easy one, Nadine. This is easy to show you how to handle this.
Okay.
What you would do, you see the stuff that's in between the trees?
Yeah.
Real quick. You would draw that background scene first.
Okay.
All that landmass where the dock is for the water here, for the beach at the bottom, for the lake's head right there. All the plants right before you get to the table where your cup is, follow your love. You see, so you would draw all of that out there, and then now you would start drawing out these trees and stuff over top of that, and the cup over top of that. You see? And then now you would start filling in that background where the house is and stuff like that, filling in this water in between the trees and everything. Then you would put the trees over top. You would fill in the trees over top of that. Then you would fill in that fencing over top of that. See how you're working your way from the inside out of the piece after you draw it all out.
Right. So it's a layer. It's a layering. Yes. But you have
layering. You can say additive because we're not subtracting anything out. You see, subtraction would be if we're covering something up, or if we're, you know what I mean, if we're erasing out the light areas, that would be subtracting if we're doing charcoal. If you was trying to color this in with watercolor or acrylic or anything else, then yes, adding these colors up, applying them one over top of the other to get that feeling of distance coming out of the surface towards you.
Got you.
Yeah.
And then, so this is what I tried to do from that, remember?
Good, Nadine. Now all you do now is you put the trees over that darker. You act like the house is not there now and put the tree right over the house. Just like Bob Ross does in some of his paintings. He'll paint out that whole scene like that, like how you did with the cup and everything, right? The dock and the pier. Then you come over top and start putting your trees and everything and your fencing over top of that scene. And then now it's going to work. It'll work. You can see where you was a little timid when you put the trees in. Now that you know that, now I would almost want to see you just kill that now by putting those dark trees right in front, not being scared now, just putting it right over the top. All right. Yeah, we can do one. If you want, we can do that one next week, Nadine.
Okay.
All right. You want to do that? So then this way
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
a
I
good
think,
idea. Because
I think,
that's like looking through something.
yes.
Or you're sitting underneath an underbrush looking out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the feeling you saying you want to feel now. Okay. It's either I'll make up a scene or we'll use the photo that you just took.
Okay, sounds good.
I would prefer to use the photo that you took.
Okay.
So then this way you can take your photo because we don't have a copyright issue with it. It's your photo.
Right.
So then you can put that on our Facebook page, and then now everybody could be able to follow what we follow directly. This will be one of the first time we're doing it in that way. And let's see what happens if they're followers or people
Right.
who want to join even more, because now we're using actual photographs.
Right. And this is something that a lot of artists are
Do.
inspired to do and do.
Right.
They're inspired by a particular location.
Mhm.
They take their cell phone out, they take a picture of it. They're so
Mhm.
captivated by it. And now they're triggering their memory of that moment with the
Mhm.
assistance of the photo.
Like, look, what used to happen to us is this. I'll turn my camera around on the phone. You see those cabinets over there?
Yeah.
That's what we used to do on a big level. See the cabinets over there, the file cabinets?
Mhm.
That file cabinet right there is full of photographs from like 1999 forward.
Mhm.
In the drawing cabinets over here, there's some photographs in there too. We don't
Mhm.
have to even hold stuff like that no more. Your phone and your little JPEG devices
Mhm.
can hold all your footage now. And you can just put it into your laptop, search through it when you don't have nothing to draw or your mind is blank. Now you
Right.
got all these different categories. You can take pictures of beach scenes,
Mhm.
pictures of urban scenes,
Mhm.
pictures of lake scenes. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? You make your own categories for spaces and places that you're familiar with or that you want to engage. So you can
Mhm.
have your own like photo collection to go off of if you need references.
Mhm.
Every artist had a reference library. Even if you go back to the Renaissance, they would buy other artists' reference books.
Mhm.
So if we were artists back then, Nadine, I would come to your studio, and if I saw your sketches like that in a book like that, I'm like, hey, Nadine, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z for your book. Is that a good deal? And you'd probably be like, well, nah, Don, I need this, that, and the third. All right, cool. I got this, that, and the third. We'll give that to you. And then now, I take your reference book because it has good flower images in it for me
Mhm.
to use as a reference. This is what they would do back then. We just don't do it now because we're in a digital era.
Right. Right.
I don't have to buy it from you now if I don't want to. I can just take the time and just take shots of everything. Keys and doorways, whatever your fetish is. You can
Mhm.
take pictures until your heart drops and have references of all of that all the time.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, I'm an advocate of that too. Use all this technology. It'll help things out so much better. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, stop painting and drawing and using the plastics. Stay with the computer. The light world is the best. No, I'm saying if you know this matter world that we're in, which we call plastics just then, because that's what they call it, the plastics. So if you're into the plastics and you know that very well, when you go to the computer, it's just going to explode even more
Mhm.
because you're going to have the imagery in your head set to be able to put to the computer. I'll
Mhm.
say it again. You have the images in your head set to be able to put them into the computer.
Mhm.
One more time for the power of three. You have the images set once again to be able to place into the computer.
Mhm.
Once you do that, I'm telling you, what me and Nadine call creative beast.
Creative beasts.
That's it. And that's 12 o'clock, everybody. We gave you all our love this week.
Absolutely. We gave it.
You enjoyed another time with Nadine
Another
O and
time.
Don Stevens at Let's Draw and Paint Along pop-up
Yeah.
cultural art classes. Yeah!
Yep. Yes.
Keep creating.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Please leave the comments in the comments section. Let us know how you feel about this session. If you're watching this in the replay, if something is touching you, you feel it's garnering some growth or light bulb moments, share it at that point, and we'll have an idea exactly where it is.
Yeah.
So that we can.
You can send us enough so we can get a lunch or two. You can send us $5 through Cash App.
Yep.
I know Nadine don't mind getting a cheesesteak on somebody or something.
I know,
Or
I
no,
don't
you
mind.
know,
Yep.
buying some coffee, some real coffee somewhere. Come on, you guys, you can tip us if you want. We'll take the tip.
Yep.
If anything engaged you and enlightened you and helped you feel healthy, hey, drop us $5 in Cash App so we can go buy some more materials, or we can go buy some coffee, keep our coffee going for our coffee cups.
Or go over to our store and contribute by buying the
buy a mouse pad and buy a cup so you can go get some coffee then.
It's really all about sharing the message of painting and drawing. And by you having that, it might start a conversation with family members, with people that might stop by in your office,
Power of
whatever.
creativity. Yep. The power of creativity.
This is our mission, to get y'all to keep creating 24/7. And with that in mind, listen, everybody, I want you to have a beautiful day. Remember to
keep creating. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nadine. I'm ready already.
Remember to look up and look around. Trigger that observant mind and keep creating.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Clap it up. You did a great job today. Keep creating. Thank you. Thank you.